Looking back, we really did try to warn them. Multiple times, in fact, with increasing levels of exasperation and creative metaphors that, in hindsight, probably didn't translate well through the universal translators. But hey, that's not on us. We even sent our best diplomat, though admittedly, that bar wasn't particularly high. Commander Jack Thompson hadn't actually wanted the job of Earth's first contact specialist. He'd been volunteered for it after a particularly memorable incident involving 3 bottles of tequila, a peacock, and an unfortunately timed video call with the United Nations Security Council. The committee agreed that anyone who could talk their way out of that situation while drunk and covered in peacock feathers was either the best or worst possible choice for interstellar diplomacy. They decided to split the difference and make him humanity's problem rather than just Earth's. The Galactic Concordat first appeared in our solar system on a Tuesday, which should have been our first warning that things weren't going to go well. Nothing good ever happens on a Tuesday. Their massive ships took up position just past Mars, and their first message to Earth was a textbook example of condescension wrapped in diplomatic pleasantries. Greetings, primitive species, they began, which really set the tone for everything that followed. We have come to incorporate your world into our benevolent empire. Thompson's response, delivered while nursing his 4th coffee of the morning, became the stuff of legend with all due respect, which is none, how about no? The aliens, particularly their lead diplomat Ambassador Thrak, seemed genuinely confused by our refusal. They had superior technology, superior numbers, and something they kept referring to as superior moral fiber, which Thompson suspected was less about ethics and more about their dietary habits. Perhaps you don't understand, Thrak transmitted. We are offering you the privilege of submission. And we're offering you the privilege of turning around and leaving, Thompson replied. Look, let me be clear, Earth is basically the Australia of the galaxy. Everything here is deadly, especially the things that don't look deadly. We've evolved on a death world and turned it into a theme park. Our idea of fun involves jumping out of perfectly good aircraft. The aliens dismissed this as primitive bravado. Thompson tried a different approach. You know what? Let me tell you about this thing we call Florida Man No. Wait, better yet, let me explain Reddit to you. Thrak's tentacles curled in what the xenologists later identified as dismissive amusement. Your primitive information-sharing systems do not concern us. They should, Thompson muttered. They really should. Over the next week, Thompson and his team attempted to convey the sheer inadvisability of invading Earth through increasingly desperate means. They sent documentation of humanity's greatest hits, World Wars I and I, the entirety of the Cold War era's Hold My Beer moments, and a carefully curated selection of extreme sports videos. This is what we do for fun, Thompson emphasized. Imagine what we do when we're actually trying to hurt someone. The Concordat responded by sending educational materials about their superior civilization, including a pamphlet titled Why Resistance is Both Futile and Impolite. In his final transmission before the invasion began, Thompson made one last attempt at warning them. Look, we've got people who eat Tide Pods on a dare. We invented parkour, which is basically just falling with style. Our response to a pandemic was to argue about whether it existed while making bread. Are you sure, absolutely sure, you want to deal with this level of chaos? The answer, delivered with the kind of pompous certainty that only comes from complete ignorance, was a condescending yes. Well, Thompson said to his staff as the first invasion ships began their approach, I tried. Someone get me the president and more coffee. This is about to get interesting. As he watched the alien ships descend, Thompson couldn't help but smile. They really should have listened to the warnings. But then again, he'd been looking for a way to make diplomatic meetings more exciting. The Concordat's first tactical mistake was landing in Detroit. Their second mistake was doing it during rush hour. Their third, and possibly most critical error, was assuming that humanity would respond to an invasion with anything resembling military protocol. Lieutenant Dana Chaos Martinez watched the alien ships descend from her favorite coffee shop, more annoyed than alarmed. She'd just waited 20 minutes for her triple-shot espresso, and these cosmic party crashers were not going to make her miss her first caffeine hit of the day. You've got to be kidding me, she muttered, watching as the sleek, silver ships attempted to establish a perfect geometric landing pattern in the middle of I-75. The resulting traffic jam would have been impressive even by Detroit standards, if anyone had bothered to stop driving. The aliens' first official act of invasion was to learn that Earth vehicles don't, in fact, yield to spacecraft, even really big ones, even ones with impressive energy weapons, especially not during rush hour. Martinez keyed her comm unit. "Command, this is Lieutenant Martinez. You seeing this?" Affirmative. Thompson's voice crackled back, sounding suspiciously amused. "How's it looking on the ground?" "Well, sir, Mrs. Henderson just ran her 87 Buick into one of their landing struts because, and I quote, 'These alien folks need to learn about right-of-way the invasion force seems.'" Confused. The alien ships had opened their hatches, deploying what appeared to be their elite shock troops. These magnificent warriors, clad in armor that probably cost more than Earth's entire military budget, found themselves immediately caught in the crossfire of a time-honored Detroit tradition construction season. Are they trying to direct traffic? Martinez watched in fascination as one alien soldier attempted to use his energy staff as an impromptu traffic wand. "Apparently their tactical simulations didn't account for human road rage," Thompson replied. "How's that working out for them?" "About as well as you'd expect, sir. One of them just learned about horn honking. I think they're having some kind of sensory overload. Their antenna things are all twitchy." The situation deteriorated further when a local food truck vendor, displaying the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that makes Earth truly special, decided that an alien invasion was no reason to miss out on the lunch rush. The smell of tacos proved to be more interesting to the local population than the threat of planetary conquest. "Command," Martinez reported, trying to keep the laughter out of her voice, "the invasion force is currently being overwhelmed by lunch orders. Apparently nobody told them that their universal translators would need to handle extra guac." The alien commander, resplendent in armor that could probably deflect nuclear weapons, was now trying to understand why humans wanted to exchange currency for what they insisted on calling mouth explosions. Their confusion only deepened when someone tried to explain the concept of food that hurt so good. Thompson's voice had taken on that special tone that meant he was trying very hard to maintain professional composure. "Please tell me someone is recording this." "Already trending on TikTok, sir. Alien invasion fails is #1 worldwide." The final straw came when someone introduced the alien forces to the concept of a Detroit-style pizza. The resulting philosophical crisis about whether pineapple belonged on pizza temporarily halted all invasion operations as the alien command structure devoted itself to debating human culinary choices. Sir Martinez reported, watching as an alien soldier cautiously attempted to eat a slice of pizza with their tentacles. "I think we might have found their weakness. Humanity's chaotic food preferences." "No, sir. Their absolute inability to handle the fact that nothing we do makes any tactical sense to them. They're trying to follow their invasion protocols, but they keep getting distracted by, well, us being us." Thompson's chuckle carried through the comm. "Well, Lieutenant, I think it's time we showed them exactly why they should have taken our warnings seriously. How do you feel about introducing them to the concept of flash mobs?" Martinez grinned, already pulling up her phone. "Sir, I thought you'd never ask. Should I start with the Harlem Shake or go straight for the mannequin challenge?" "Dealer's choice, Lieutenant. Just make sure it's properly hashtagged." As Martinez began coordinating what would later be known as Operation Viral Sensation, she couldn't help but notice that the alien soldiers were already unconsciously bobbing their heads to someone's car stereo blasting "Never Gonna Give You Up." The invasion of Earth was about to get significantly more entertaining. In the history of galactic warfare, few tactical decisions have proven as catastrophically stupid as the Concordat's choice to confiscate Earth's coffee supply. The aliens, in their infinite wisdom, had concluded that humanity's dependence on bean-derived stimulant juice was a military weakness to be exploited. They were about to learn why coffee breaks are protected by the Geneva Convention. Admiral Bob Jitters Wilson received the news during his morning briefing, his hand already halfway to his coffee mug when Lieutenant Martinez's report came in. The mug, his favorite that read "Don't talk to me until this is empty," crashed to the floor with devastating symbolism. They did what Wilson's eye twitched, a movement that sent junior officers scrambling for cover. "They've seized all major coffee warehouses," Sir Martinez reported, her own voice carrying the strain of someone operating on emergency backup caffeine. "They're calling it Operation Decaf." The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of Wilson's dental work creaking under pressure. Get me Commander Thompson. Now. Thompson appeared on screen moments later, looking surprisingly chipper for someone in the middle of an alien invasion. Sir, before you ask, yes, I still have my emergency coffee supply. Commander Wilson's voice had taken on the dangerous calm of someone planning war crimes. I want you to explain to our guests exactly what they've just done. Thompson's grin was not entirely sane. With pleasure, sir. Should I use small words? The transmission to the Concordat command ship was short, sweet, and terrifying in its simplicity. You have exactly 1 hour to return our coffee, Thompson announced, or we're going to show you why humans without caffeine are classified as weapons of mass destruction. The aliens, maintaining their commitment to poor decision-making, laughed. Exactly 59 minutes later, Lieutenant Martinez coordinated the first counterattack. It began, as all great human victories do, with spite and creativity. Operation Espresso Shot is a go, she announced over the secure channel. All units commence caffeine-deprived combat protocols. What followed would later be described in alien military textbooks as the incident we don't talk about. Humanity, denied its primary source of motivation and joy, channeled generations of customer service trauma into pure combat effectiveness. The first wave consisted entirely of former baristas, armed with what weapons they could find and fueled by the muscle memory of dealing with entitled customers. They moved with the terrifying efficiency of people who had spent years making elaborate drinks for people who couldn't pronounce a kai. Sir, an alien lieutenant reported to K-Thrak, the humans are using their vehicles too. They're using the drive-through lanes as tank traps. The what lanes? They've also repurposed their milk steamers as sonic weapons. The noise is... I can't get the sound out of my head, sir. They keep screaming something about pumpkin spice. K-Thrak, who had thought himself prepared for human warfare, watched in horror as a group of soccer moms, operating on nothing but rage and memories of coffee, turned their minivans into mobile battering rams. Admiral Wilson, now operating on what his staff quietly referred to as diet spike, coordinated the counter-offensive from his command center. The room had been converted into a makeshift shrine to caffeine, with empty coffee cups arranged in patterns that would have worried a psychologist. Status report, he barked. Sir Martinez's voice crackled through. The IT department has gone feral. They've hacked the alien ship's environmental controls and set all their screens to display the PC load letter error message. The aliens are. They're trying to submit help desk tickets. Thompson, who had somehow acquired an emergency French press from parts unknown, added his own update. The physics department has weaponized sleep deprivation, sir. They're sending the aliens their exam papers and demanding peer review. The breaking point came when someone and no one would ever admit to being responsible introduced the alien command structure to the concept of decaf coffee. The resulting philosophical crisis about the purpose of coffee without caffeine caused their entire command structure to shut down for 3 hours of ethical debate. By hour 6 of the coffee siege, the Concordat's supreme commander received a simple message, written in Comic Sans just to add insult to injury: we can do this all day. We've got instant coffee in spite. The coffee supplies were returned within the hour, along with a formal apology written in what appeared to be shaky tentacle writing. Humanity celebrated its victory the only way it knew how, with more coffee. As Wilson savored his first properly caffeinated drink in hours, he turned to Thompson. Make sure they understand next time we won't be so nice. What should I tell them we'll do? Thompson asked. Wilson's smile was terrifying. Tell them we'll switch to energy drinks. The aliens, monitoring this exchange, immediately updated their tactical databases. Under human weaknesses, they deleted coffee dependency and replaced it with do not touch the coffee. Ever. It wasn't their last mistake in the war, but it was definitely their most memorable. Tech Sergeant Pam Meme Queen Jackson had never expected her extensive knowledge of internet culture to become a military asset. Yet here she was, leading Earth's newest defense division, the Department of Psychological Warfare, through applied absurdity. All right, people, she addressed her team, standing before a wall of monitors displaying various social media feeds. The aliens think they understand human culture. Let's fix that. The first phase of Operation Internet Brain Break began with what Jackson called the Great Rickroll Offensive. Every transmission to the alien fleet, from military communications to surrender demands, began with those iconic synthesizer notes. They're trying to decrypt the music, Martinez reported, patching through to Jackson's command center. Their xenomusicologists are convinced it's some kind of military code. Oh, it gets better, Jackson grinned, pulling up her latest report. They've started a task force to understand why humans are seemingly obsessed with this one specific human male's promise to never give up or desert anyone. They think it's our species' core philosophy. Thompson, who had been copied on the report, couldn't stop laughing. Please tell me we're documenting all of this. Better than that, sir. We've started uploading their confused reactions to YouTube. The comments section is pure gold. The aliens' attempts to understand human culture only drove them deeper into confusion. After discovering cat videos, their behavioral science division spent 3 days trying to understand why humans would willingly cohabitate with tiny predators, only to document and share their most chaotic moments. Their confusion reached new heights when Jackson's team introduced them to memes. Sir, an alien analyst reported to Kathrak, we've intercepted more human communications, but they make no tactical sense. They appear to be sharing images of a frog on a unicycle. Kathrak's tentacles twitched in frustration. What is the strategic significance? According to our analysis, it's Wednesday, my dudes. The entire alien command structure spent the next week trying to understand why humans assigned different frogs to different days of the week. Their attempts to create counter memes were, as Jackson's team gleefully noted, painfully cringe. But the real masterpiece of psychological warfare came when Jackson introduced the aliens to human conspiracy theories. You see, she explained in a transmission that she knew they'd intercept. The real reason humans are so good at fighting is because the birds aren't real. They're government drones. The alien surveillance teams immediately redirected all their resources to studying Earth's avian population. Their confusion only deepened when they discovered flat Earth theories. Command, an increasingly desperate alien scout, reported, the humans are now claiming their planet is both a sphere and flat. Simultaneously, they're arguing about it with complex mathematical proofs that somehow both work and don't work at the same time. Jackson's team followed this up by introducing them to the concept of Finnish conspiracy theories. Finland isn't real, they transmitted. It's actually a fishing colony created by Japan and Russia. The aliens, who had several diplomatic outposts in Finland, immediately launched a full investigation. The Finnish people, displaying that special kind of sisu that made them legendary, played along completely straight-faced. Has anyone actually been to Finland became a running joke in the alien fleet, even among ships currently orbiting over Helsinki. Thompson, watching the aliens spiral into existential crisis, couldn't help but admire Jackson's work. You know they're starting to question whether Earth is real at all. That's nothing, Jackson replied. Wait until they discover shitposting. The breaking point came when someone introduced the Alien Intelligence Division to surreal memes. Their attempts to decode what they assumed were highly sophisticated military communications resulted in a 15-page report trying to explain the strategic significance of Borga. Ma and one of Jackson's analysts called out, they're now trying to understand why humans think Australia is upside down. They've rotated 3 of their ships to compensate. Jackson leaned back in her chair, watching as the alien fleet tried to make sense of humanity's collective online consciousness. You know what? Let's introduce them to cursed images next. See how they handle Long Furby. The resulting alien transmission was just a single line. Why? Because we can, Jackson replied, already queuing up a presentation on deep-fried memes. Welcome to the internet, space nerds. In their official report to the Galactic Concordat, the alien cultural analysis team wrote only this: their weapons are powerful, but their mimetic warfare is incomprehensible. We are beginning to suspect that humans don't make sense on purpose. They weren't wrong. The decision to crowdsource military tactics from Reddit wasn't so much a strategic choice as it was an inevitable consequence of humanity being humanity. It started when a junior officer accidentally posted classified alien combat footage to What Could Go Wrong with the title WCGW if you invade Earth. The post went viral in minutes. Sir Martinez reported to Thompson, trying to keep her voice professional, the internet has opinions about the aliens' battle strategies. Thompson, who had already seen the thread, was trying not to laugh. How bad is it? Well, Our Wall Street Bets is trying to short sell alien technology stocks. Our relationship _ advice is suggesting the aliens should break up with their invasion fleet because it's showing red flags, and someone on our legal advice is asking if we can sue the aliens for parking violations. The aliens, monitoring Earth's internet traffic for tactical intelligence, found themselves increasingly baffled by human response strategies that seemed to be generated by collective brainstorming sessions fueled by sleep deprivation and memes. They're doing what Kthrak demanded, reading the latest intelligence report. According to our Redneck Engineering, they're converting their primitive combustion vehicles into what they call battle wagons using duct tape and WD-40, his analyst replied, antenna twitching in confusion. The situation escalated when our Ask Science got involved in analyzing alien technology. Their detailed breakdown of possible weaknesses was immediately followed by our Hold Mebius practical applications of those theories. Jackson's team monitored the developments with growing delight. They've started their own subreddit, she reported. Our alien invasion problems. Top post is ATA for invading Earth. The comments are brutal. The aliens' attempt to understand Reddit's karma system led to them accidentally creating several bot accounts, which were promptly banned by auto-moderator for suspicious activity. Their formal diplomatic protest about this was automatically removed for not including a TL doctor. One of Jackson's analysts called out, "Our malicious compliance just posted a guide on how to technically follow alien surrender demands while being as annoying as possible about it." The guide made it to our all within hours, complete with detailed instructions and spite-based modifications. The aliens found themselves dealing with humans who were following their orders to the letter while somehow completely subverting their intent. Admiral Wilson, who had been watching the situation unfold, couldn't help but admire the chaos. Are we seriously letting Reddit plan our military strategy? Not exactly, Sir Thompson replied. We're letting Reddit distract them while we implement the actual plans from checks notes r/ADHD_solutions. Those are actual plans. Surprisingly effective ones, sir. Turns out people who spend their lives adapting to executive dysfunction are really good at coming up with unconventional solutions to complex problems. The aliens' increasing frustration became evident in their communications. Their tactical AI, attempting to predict human behavior by analyzing Reddit threads, had crashed 3 times trying to process the logic of our shower thoughts. Their final breaking point came when someone introduced them to our bird Serentriel, just as they were recovering from their earlier bird surveillance fiasco. The resulting confusion led to an entire alien battle group spending 2 days trying to prove that pigeons were in fact real. Should we tell them about our Amish? Martinez suggested, watching the aliens struggle with understanding subreddit culture. Let's save that for when they discover our bread staple trees, Jackson replied. One existential crisis at a time. The aliens' official report to their high command about Earth's internet-based tactical decisions was marked incomprehensible in large letters. The attached analysis simply read their crowdsourcing chaos, and it's working. In a final desperate attempt to understand human military strategy, the aliens tried to create their own subreddit for invasion planning. It was immediately overrun with human shitposters and devolved into a discussion about whether alien technology could cook a chicken through high-velocity slaps. You know what the scariest part is, Thompson mused, watching the aliens try to comprehend why humans were so invested in theoretical chicken cooking physics. All of this is just what we do for fun. They still haven't seen what happens when humans actually try to be weird on purpose. Martinez grinned. Should we show them our Thomas the Planck Engineer? Let's save that for the nuclear option. Some war crimes are too cruel, even for us. The aliens, meanwhile, had somehow stumbled onto our DY and were now genuinely concerned that all human technology was held together by hot glue and spite. They weren't entirely wrong. The final battle for Earth began, as all truly important human events do, with someone saying, "Hey, watch this." After weeks of psychological warfare, meme attacks, and Reddit-based battle strategies, the alien fleet had been reduced to a state that human psychiatrists could only describe as terminally done with this nonsense. Their once precise formation had devolved into what looked suspiciously like a giant question mark in Earth's orbit. Commander Thompson, watching from mission control with his 7th coffee of the morning, couldn't help but feel a little proud. Status report. Sir Martinez's voice carried the distinctive tone of someone trying not to laugh. Operation Internet Historian is ready to proceed. Sergeant Jackson's team has prepared what they're calling the ultimate compilation of human nonsense. And the Finnish contingent. Still maintaining that Finland doesn't exist, sir. The aliens have removed Finland from all their star charts and are now convinced it's some sort of mass hallucination. Thompson nodded sagely. Excellent. Admiral Wilson, shall we proceed with the final phase? Wilson, who had finally achieved coffee nirvana after his earlier deprivation, gave the go-ahead. Launch Operation Touch Grass. What followed would later be described in galactic records as the event that made the void itself cringe. Humanity, in its infinite wisdom, had decided to end the war by launching every single piece of weird content they had directly into the aliens' neural networks. Jackson's team had prepared a comprehensive package, every meme from the past century, every conspiracy theory, every inexplicable internet trend, and for the coup de grace, the entire history of Florida Man headlines. Transmitting now, Jackson announced, hitting the button with perhaps too much enthusiasm. Let's see how they handle the internet's greatest hits. The alien fleet's response was immediate and spectacular. Their ships began moving in patterns that suggested their navigation systems were having an existential crisis. Several vessels began playing Never Gonna Give You Up on all frequencies, having apparently given up on understanding and chosen to embrace the chaos. Sir Martinez reported, their AI has started posting on Twitter. It's mostly keyboard smash and reaction GIFs. Kathrak's final transmission to Earth was a masterpiece of defeated confusion. Why are you like this? Thompson's reply was the culmination of humanity's entire defense strategy, because we saw this really cool thing on YouTube once and decided to try it. The alien fleet's surrender came shortly after, drafted in Comic Sans and posted to Reddit with the title Tifu. By trying to invade Earth, it reached the front page within minutes, earning several platinum awards and a flood of comments saying nice. In the aftermath, as the Galactic Concordat tried to piece together exactly how they'd lost to a species that had turned shitposting into an art form, humanity celebrated in its own unique way by turning the entire invasion into a series of increasingly absurd memes. Admiral Wilson, reading the final after-action report, couldn't help but smile. You know what the best part is? They still think we were operating according to some kind of master plan. Weren't we? Martinez asked. Lieutenant, our entire species has been running on spite, caffeine, and the desire to see what happens if we press this button for our entire existence. We just weaponized it. The official peace treaty was signed a week later, with one crucial addition insisted upon by the aliens. Earth was to be classified as a Class X planet, with the designation approach with caution. Inhabitants make no sense. Thompson, after signing the treaty with a pen that said live, laugh, love just to mess with them one last time, turned to his team. Well, that was fun. Anyone up for teaching them about TikTok dances? The collective scream of horror from the alien diplomatic corps could be heard from orbit. In the years that followed, Earth gained a reputation in the galaxy as the place where logic goes to die and chaos comes to party. Humanity, naturally, took this as a compliment. And somewhere in the vast digital archives of the Galactic Concordat, a single file remains, labeled simply Earth Do Not Engage. They have read it, and they were not afraid to use it. We did try to warn them. After all, not our fault they didn't believe us about the Florida Man thing.